just spent 5 days on anchor at Kekova Roads, checked out a couple of anchorages, but we've got a bit of an issue with the engine now, would you believe? We're blowing out white oily smoke and the engine is chewing through a lot of oil. This is the next edition that we're planning for ABC. We're not quite sure yet whether we're going to put it on the foredeck or on the solar panel arch. Maybe you can drop a comment below and let us know where you think it would be best positioned. He's obviously paying a lot more for his anchorage spot than we are. This anchorage at Kekova Roads in Turkey is a mixed bag for me. It is a wonderful spot to drop your hook. It is a mud bottom, so the holding is absolutely fabulous. The protection from any wind or swell is brilliant as well. However, it does get very noisy. There is a constant flow of day tripper boats going in and out of the marked channel just behind these small islands here. The beauty of the place is amazing, but if you're looking for absolute perfect silence, this is definitely not the place to anchor. So for me, it's 50-50 really. It's a great anchorage that you could drop the hook and swing freely without any concerns about hitting the rocks or banging into another boat. There's plenty of room in here, but the noise factor kind of spoils it a little bit. Bonuses are that you can go into the small town here for dining out or provisioning, and even buy basic boat bits like engine oil, Turkish flags and stuff like that. You've also got this amazing old castle to visit. Tucked right inside the bay is a boatyard, and you can tie your dinghy off to a pontoon there. It's nothing spectacular, it's nothing flash, it is very basic, and then you can walk up to the castle. We just spent 5 days on anchor at Kekova Roads, checked out a couple of anchorages, but we've got a bit of an issue with the engine now, would you believe? We're blowing out oily smoke. It's white oily smoke and the engine is chewing through a lot of oil. So we're now heading back to Cache and taking some video footage for Aydın, the engine tech guy, and I'll show him that at his workshop and see if he can diagnose what the issue is. We'll probably need to get a compression test, I would guess. So yeah, next big thing on the list, finding out why we're burning through so much oil. Just try and get the engine running normally. Fun with boats, eh? It's just after 8 o'clock on Monday morning, and today is the day that the best mechanic in town, Aydın, is coming to visit the boat. He should be here about 10 o'clock to start actually looking directly at the issue that's causing the oil burn. We've had a lot of chats over the weekend with a lot of people. And it seems to be spread across the board, whether it's going to be the injectors, the turbo or the piston rings. My best guess is that it is the turbo, because I've been doing a lot of reading about them and they're very prissy. They have to be babied a lot. They spin at really fast revolutions. They work at very high temperatures, so if you don't start your engine up properly and shut your engine down properly, then they get a bit pissy. In a way, I'm kind of hoping it is the turbo, because we used the boat for nearly 2 years without knowing we had a seized turbo, and we got excellent speed out of her. So if it is the turbo, I'm just going to ask Aydın to build something, remove the turbo and build some mechanical piece to bypass where the turbo should be, because I'd rather not have one and have all the messing around with having to work with a turbo. So yeah, I'm just about to get the boat ready. I've got to take a few doors and cupboard doors off and prepare the 2 aft hatches for an oily mechanic. So yeah, countdown to 10 o'clock. let's see how it turns out, eh? I'm getting that deja vu feeling with the cabin door and the inspection panel doors off and the good old engine exposed. The main reason we've done this is so that Aiden has very easy access to the engine and the parts he wants to work on, but also with the door still on here and open, you have to have the cabin door closed as well, and the heat that builds up inside these cabins, it is still reaching temperatures of 35 and 36 degrees here at the moment, so it's just not a good working environment. So we're going to try and keep him as cool and hydrated as possible, and that way he can get on with the job and hopefully find the problem and the solution. Here is Aiden now. Oh look, he's ready to go. He's brought a trolley full of tools. Good Aiden. Good Aiden. Aiden's been here for about 20 minutes now, and he's already said that he's 90% confident that the problem lies with the turbo. So I've just discussed with him that if it is certainly the turbo, then can we get a turbo off, throw it in the sea, and have an engine without a turbo, because they are a real pain in the bum.
But not throw it in the sea.
No, really. Not literally throw it in the sea. Okay, so this is a part that we've had off in the past, and when we first took it off it was oily like that, but Aiden seems to think that this is definitely not normal. And a lot of oil. Oh, as actually I can actually see oil moving in there. Yeah. So there's tons of oil just throwing itself into the turbo system. So once again we're taking off the turbo unit, and I'm going to guess that Aiden's going to take it all back to the workshop and manufacture something MacGyver style to remove the turbo unit from the whole system, and then bring it back and reattach it. We're now looking at the engine minus the air intake, turbo and exhaust system again. So while Aiden takes it back to his workshop, we'll get this all cleaned up. Just had Typhon from further up on the pontoon come and tell me that he had a phone call from Aiden. Aiden wants to see me in his workshop in town, so time to mask up and go and see what's happening at Aiden's workshop. Hopefully it's not bad news. Okay, so here we are at Aiden's shop in Cashtown. He's disassembled the turbo system and basically it's just collapsed. So this is the broken piece here.
This here.
Aha, so that's snapped off there. Yep.
This is broken.
Okay. And all of these blades are broken too. Do it that way. See how this one's got a pointy out bit, this bit's broken off. And you can see here the blades, they've been wearing against the inside. So basically it's come unbalanced and just packed in basically.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm going to put all this lot back together after it's been cleaned, and we'll see Aiden back at the boat. I just heard a trolley coming down the pontoon. Is it Aiden with his trolley full of tools and a re-engineered part to fit? It certainly is. Okay, so this is looking inside the turbo where there would normally be a fan on a spindle. So basically what Aiden's done, he's created this replacement disc, aluminium part to close it off completely. So fresh air comes in here through the air filter, bounces around in there, and it just goes straight to the engine. Engine exhaust attaches here and goes down here, and then just exits through here into our exhaust elbow. And also Aiden has closed off this section here, which was basically the oil feed. So the oil for lubricating the turbo would come in here, lubricate the turbo, and then go out through there. So that's basically all being shut off as well. So the turbo has been eliminated from the system. This is part of the freshwater cooling system, and so that still runs as it normally would. And of course the salt water attaches here with the exhaust mixing elbow. That's why it's called a mixing elbow, because the exhaust fumes come out and the salt water comes out and they mix and they go out the boat. Right, now we've got the fun task of putting it all back together. Okay. Just to finish off this segment about Aiden coming on board and troubleshooting our engine issue, I just got to say that I am feeling so stoked about the outcome. And the whole process, really, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, we've said it before that Aiden is an absolute genius when it comes to mechanics, and you know, once again, he'd never done this before. Here's something we were talking after the job, and what he said to me, he said he phoned up Yanmar in Turkey yesterday, and he said, I want to take the turbo off a Yanmar J blah 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 engine, and Yanmar Turkey said, you can't do that. And I'd asked, why not, why can't I? And Yanmar said, well, you just can't, it's a turbo engine, you can't take the turbo off. So he said, okay, how much is a service kit for a turbo? And they said, oh, we don't do service kits for those turbos. So I'd asked, how much is a replacement turbo? And they quoted him 3,400 euros for this little turbo piece that bolts on. And he said, okay, thank you very much. So then Aiden phoned his turbo specialist guy in Istanbul and asked the same questions, and he said, yeah, sure, you can do that, but you might get black smoke coming out of the exhaust when the injector nozzles inject too much fuel into the cylinder, and it all can't be burnt off, and that ejects out of the exhaust and comes out as black smoke. So yes, it can be done, but expect this, and then you may have to change down the injector nozzles to a smaller size. Okay, we're just about to start the engine. I'm pretty confident that we've got everything. We've reconnected all the hoses and the hose clamps. We've got the oil level just where we want it to be. We've refilled the freshwater system. We've blocked off all of the oil in and out places that are not in use now that we're not lubricating the turbo part of the engine. Everything is back in place. All the pipes are where they should be. All the hoses are solid. So we're going to crank her over and see what happens. I mean, I've got trust in Aiden and what Aiden and I have just done, but yeah, it's still a bit nerve-wracking. Okay.
Okay, start.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a relief, to say the least. We took her up to 3,000 revs, slowly. Aiden was expecting to see black smoke up at the higher revs because the injectors were pumping in more fuel than can actually be burned. So it looks like even with the turbo injectors in place, the nozzles, we're not putting in too much fuel into the system that it can't burn it all. We are seeing a little bit of white smoke, which is pretty normal for a diesel engine. So Aiden says leave it for 20 minutes now, just let it run at 2,000 revs for 20 minutes, that'll clear all of the excess residue from the issue out of the system, and then we'll take it up to 3,000 again and see what it looks like. So all in all, quite pleased really.
He's a legend, isn't he?
Aiden is the magic mechanic. As it turned out, it was all great, but I've probably mentioned this previously. But the thing is, yeah, I'm absolutely stoked right now. The fact that we've got ABC, her engine, her heart, beating as best she can. We've got no more concerns about having a turbo, having to service the turbo, things going wrong with the turbo. So I'm absolutely stoked. Just feeling really, really good. Just thought I'd share that with you.
We are so glad that our engine issues are all sorted out now. If you've enjoyed this video, do give us a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and ding that bell so that you get notified of future video updates. We'd like to welcome on board to our Patreon family Morton UA. Welcome Morton, it's great to have you aboard. We really do value all of you, patrons, subscribers and viewers, because you really help us to keep our journey going and keep us motivated when things don't work. So thank you, all of you. Next week's video is going to be all about our Marina contract and also the pros and cons of living at the Marina versus living at anchor. So we'll look forward to seeing you then.